Last night, the Gulls took a trip to the Vineyard, and in a wild game, to say the least, Newport prevailed 19-9, and now the Gulls are back home for yet another Coastal Division matchup. Welcome into a rainy Cardines field here in Newport, Rhode Island. Today, the Newport Gulls welcome in the North Shore Navigators for the second time this week. We've got our pregame show coming up here on the Newport Gulls Broadcast Network, so make sure you stick around. We got plenty coming up.
I won!
That's a good play!
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has paid over $57 billion in prizes and contributed over $8 billion to Rhode Island's general fund. Your Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for 50 years and counting.
Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. I'm joined here by Danielle Hart. Danielle, what do you do for the Gulls here on a day-to-day basis?
I'm the social media manager, so I tweet on Twitter, live updates. I do score updates on the Instagram story, and basically show everyone what game day is like at Cardines Field.
And what is game day like? What's your favorite part to show people?
My favorite part to show people is definitely the highlights or the in-between inning games, because you can see all the fun that we have here on game day.
It is very fun. And Danielle, where do you go to college?
I go to Clemson University.
So a little bit nicer weather than the weather we have today here at Cardines. And what's your major at Clemson?
I'm majoring in criminal justice, but I have minors in sports communication and brand communication.
Wow, that sounds a lot of work. I think that's too much for me to handle for sure. All right, Danielle, last question before I let you go. What are your future plans when you graduate from Clemson?
Definitely do some sort of social media for a sports team, either baseball or any other professional sports team.
Well, being here with the Gulls is a great start. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, the pregame show rolls on.
Welcome back into the Newport Gulls pregame show. The rain continues to fall, but that's not stopping us. I'm Sam Reese, now joined by hitting coach of Newport, Ted Regan. And Coach, I think you know where my first question's heading. The last time a game was played here at Cardines a couple of nights ago, you were tossed from that game, just one out into the first inning. So just take me through what happened there and just the passion you have as a coach.
The passion I have is real. I haven't been dumped in 15 years. The first time in 15 years I got dumped.
Wow.
I just didn't agree the way he overruled what happened at first base, that's all. The guy at first base made the call. He's right on top of the bag. The home plate umpire is 95 feet away. In the back, the first baseman has his back to him. I just said to him, you're in the wrong spot to help him out and make that call. He's right there. If it's right, wrong, or indifferent, he should own it. But you shouldn't interject there, that's all. So he didn't want to hear what I had to say. And he dumped me pretty quick. I couldn't believe it was that fast. If it was that fast, I would have got more choice words in, but I couldn't do that.
Couldn't get them in.
No,
well, with that being said, do you think in a way, obviously you don't want to get tossed, but showing that passion, so showing that energy from the dugout, do you think that rubs off a little bit on the players and motivates them a little bit?
I hope so. I hope it does. I mean, it doesn't. I didn't do it purposely to
Right.
invigorate our guys. But if that makes them do it, I'll get dumped more often.
Fair enough. And in that game in particular, it was more of a pitcher's duel. But then last night, I know you weren't there last night on the Vineyard, but I'm sure you saw that box
I did.
score.
I watched it. It was a long day.
You watched it.
I watched the game.
Yep. So what do you take away from that? 19 runs put on the board. Obviously, fewer hits than runs in that game. But, you know, guys like Andrew Duncan, Jack Doyle, Tyler Minnick had a home run. That has to be promising.
Well, Jack Doyle had 3 hits last night. It was
Yeah.
nice for him to get started. And Andrew's been swinging the bat really well to get 4 hits to keep him on base with his speed. And he's very dangerous on base, so that's really great. Very happy with that. The big thing I came away with that is that we walked more than we struck out, which is a great sign for us. We've been striking out a little bit too much for my liking, but, I mean, that's the world today. Everybody accepts strikeouts. I'm not so crazy about accepting strikeouts. But we walked more than we struck out, and we had timely hitting. It was great.
Yeah, Nolan Stevens, for example, had 1 walk all season. He was walked 4 times last night on the Vineyard. Last question for you. What's the message for you personally to the offense heading into tonight and, you know, heading into, I guess, now that we're past the quarter mark of the season, what's the main thing you're trying to get across?
Just trying to have them to get an approach. Instead of swinging at everything, have an approach at the plate, what you want to swing at. Pre-2K, pre-2 strikes is your pitch. When it comes to 2 strikes, got to shorten up, get the baseball in play, get some activity out of it. That's my preach. That's what I'm going to be on all year long.
All right, we appreciate the words as always. That's Coach
You're
Regan.
welcome.
We'll be back in a moment on the Gulls pregame show. Make sure you stick around. Welcome back into the Gulls pregame show. I'm Sam Reese, now joined by Tyler Minnick. And Tyler, yesterday on the Vineyard, that was a wild game, 19-9, the final score. And for you personally, it was quite the night as well. You were the starting catcher, took a knock behind the plate, you got hit by a pitch, you had 5 RBI, then you had a home run in the ninth. Just take me through what that game was like for you.
Yeah, that was definitely a wild game to say the least. Offense was plentiful for both teams, but it was great, obviously. Got hit by a pitch. That wasn't fun, but then also, at the end was able to come up, square a ball up, leave the yard. It was all great, but overall great night. Scored a lot of runs, the whole team, everything was great.
And take me through that home run in the ninth as the rain starts to fall down a bit more heavy here at Cardines Field. Because for you, it's taken a little bit while for you to get going at the plate. I have to imagine that felt well. What did you see on that pitch?
No. That at-bat was really good, personally. He fouled off a couple fastballs, just waiting, knew he was going to throw the slider. He threw it, hung it, and didn't miss it. So.
And then last question for you. Talk about the relationships you've developed here in Newport now a few weeks into the season, and especially the catcher group. You guys as catchers kind of getting a healthy rotation in, week out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love this group of guys, all the group. We're a great team. We're very close, which is awesome, especially in the catcher side of things. Me, Jake, we've gotten along great. He was ACC as well, and then obviously Max, awesome, come from the Naval Academy. And yeah, it's just been awesome. We're a really tight-knit group, and looking forward to it.
All right, thanks so much for the time, Tyler. That's Tyler Minnick. We'll be back in a moment with more on the Gulls pregame show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. The rain keeps falling, but our spirits remain high. I'm Ryan Daniel here with Mac McCommons. Mac, what can you tell us about your first couple weeks here in Newport?
I've absolutely loved it. It's been a great opportunity. Love everybody here. Hope to come back again next year.
And obviously, as a member of the Naval Academy, your term on leave is almost up. So what's the kind of feeling heading back to Annapolis next week?
Oh, just thankful to be here. The time here is short, but we made the most of it. Really happy to be able to spend time with Brock here with the Gulls. It's been amazing.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit more to your camaraderie with Brock Murtha, having played with him not just here but also at the Naval Academy?
Yeah, Brock's a great teammate. He leads the team in many ways, and to have him here and be able to hang out with him, have a friend here before making friends with a bunch of other guys here, it was really nice. Yeah.
And I guess one question I always have when I'm looking at your stat line is you seem to have a knack for getting hit by pitches. Can you tell us about that, what you do differently?
I don't even know. Just started hot. Came out of the gates running, getting hit by pitches. I kind of got on top of the plate, not really, but they just came at me. It's fine. It slowed down as the season went on, but yeah, it was fun to be up at the top of the hit by pitch leaderboard there at the beginning of the season. Yeah.
Is that something that at the Naval Academy you guys kind of compete for, to be at the top of the hit by pitch leaderboard?
No, we don't, but it was funny enough that Brock was actually at the top of it too. So yeah, it was just coincidence. It was funny.
Well, maybe being hit by pitches is something that translates well from the Naval Academy to Newport. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, the pregame show rolls on.
Well, the rain's coming down here pregame, but the hope is that we're going to play baseball tonight here at Cardines Field. That puts a wrap on the Gulls pregame show as Newport is set to face off with North Shore for the second time this week in a Coastal Division showdown. Well, that's a wrap on our pregame show. You can watch the game over on ESPN+. First pitch is at 6:35. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody.
I won! That's a good play!
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has paid over $57 billion in prizes and contributed over $8 billion to Rhode Island's general fund. Your Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for 50 years and counting.